otra cosa. Hola, hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Buenos días, gracias por recibirme nuevamente aquí en este canal de coaching tanatológico y hoy vamos a hacer un pequeño cambio porque voy a tener que hacer esta entrevista en inglés. No voy a traducir, voy a tratar de ponerles después los subtitles, los subtítulos para que ustedes puedan entender de qué estamos hablando, pero los que puedan lograr tener total comprensión de esta entrevista, será increíble que todos la puedan escuchar. Y bueno, voy a invitar, tengo una invitada, bueno, increíble. I have a guest today that is just amazing. She's my best friend from high school. We've known each other for like more than 25 years, I think. I don't know. I don't know, but I have some evidence here for you guys. So you know how long we know each other. This is us. Back in the day, it's just so funny to see each other. I know. Like I said, we look so innocent, and look at us now.
Look at us. Trouble, capital
I
T.
know. I remember
Who
that
knew?
weekend that it was like snowing so bad, and I got stuck at your house, and we just spent the whole weekend there with no heat, like just stuck in the snow. It was just amazing watching movies and eating junk food all day. It was
I mean,
wonderful.
let's go back to that day. Let's go back.
And
Let's do that.
yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun. And usually we don't get a lot of snow like that, but
Mhm.
that was a big one. I think it was 95,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
95
me
or
too.
96 anyway.
Yeah, I know. It was just crazy. It was the best years of my life
Yes,
ever,
I know.
So,
Lots of good memories. Lots of good memories.
yes, I know. Well, without further any other comments, I am so happy to have you here. This is something that we wanted to do for a long, long time. Let me give you a little bit of background on Chris because she's just an amazing woman. I don't know, you have to tell me the whole story because I think we hadn't had any time to, just recap everything that's happened all these
Yeah.
years. And now with your project and everything, I know that you're doing wonderful things in NC and that you're helping just so many people and a lot of families. They have, just issues and stuff they're going through as, with their children and stuff. And I think we both have same mission in life, And
Yes.
I was reading your description in your website, when I was reading the staff members, and you found something that said I need to get people connected, and this is my mission in life, doing this thing. I just connect people with different things, with different opportunities or kinds of therapy, or just people, helping people, you know what I mean? So I was
Yeah.
like, that's where we're here. So this is it, So we had to do something. It's just something that came out just a few days ago, and I was like, we have to do this live. I'm not afraid anymore to do this in English, even though my English is not as good as it used to be. But well, okay.
Stop it. You have very, very, very good English. And my
Thank
Spanish,
you.
listen, if I had to do this in Spanish, this would be a 3-minute interview.
Like, hola, adios, amiga.
Hola. I mean, I know a few things, but I am not fluent by any means. So, thank you for being willing to do this in English. And of course, you were just as beautiful and so kind things to say about me. And I could say the same about you. Like, you're changing the map, right? Like, you're making an impact and making waves in Mexico. And I am so proud of you and
Thank
your
you.
husband and your sweet girls. I mean, you are just making a difference. And so that's our goal in life, right? Is to make a difference
Totally.
and to make a change for the better. And so I'm proud that you're my friend. And
Oh,
I'm glad that we can have this chat.
yes, me too. Me too. I'm so proud of you too. Your family. I think we got so many things in common, even though we hadn't seen each other for like forever. We've seen each other once ever since I left NC, but I think our lives are just so connected somehow. They're just a lot of things happening. But anyway, let's get to it. So, helping community, empowering the community. This is what this chat is about today, guys. building connections. This is something that Chris came up with. She is a teacher. She's been an elementary teacher for middle, high school, young adult. She's now teaching social skills for, she's a teacher and a coach for families, for kids, for just whatever, whoever just reach out to you, you just give your, kindness and loving, you're just amazing with those kids. And to see how they thrive with all these challenges in life, it's just amazing. And it's just really wonderful. And this is what we're gonna talk about today. We're just empower the community. How did it start? So tell me all about it, my friend.
So I love that you started with the word connection, because that is the central part to everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
As human beings, we all want to feel valued and loved and seen and heard. And how do we go about getting that? Is we have to be connected to things. We have to be connected to our own self and our brain and our thoughts and feelings. We have to know about that. We have to be connected with people.
Yes.
We have to be connected with our community. And so that's how we're able to have those feelings and be able to not just receive, but also give back. It's not just,
Yes.
give me, because
Yes.
this is what
Yes.
I need, but it's about how can I help you in whatever journey that you're on. So Building Connections is 7 years old, which is crazy to say. I was teaching early intervention, preschool special education in the school system. And what I saw was there was a very high need for helping children with autism, ADHD, anxiety in a way that was different than what we were going about doing it. And so what I would do is that children who had identified disabilities, such as the ones that I named, and received an IEP, an individualized education plan, through the school system under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, we were going to support them in their community preschool settings. But what I found out is that I would follow their plan, their goals of Johnny will have back and forth communication with at least one other peer with minimum cues and that kind of thing. Well, I was supporting them maybe 2-3 times a week for about 45 minutes to an hour. But what I found is that they didn't have the skills to be able to do it. So how was I going to teach them those skills? So what I found is that teaching them in isolation and giving them the skills kind of foundationally, and then being able to go back into the classroom and say, okay, now let's practice these skills. Then I became a coach. So I was a teacher, then I became a coach. And just like with any sport or anything that you've got to practice these things, but you have to have the skill set first. I can practice throwing basketballs in a basketball hoop, but if I don't know the foundational skills to be able to do that, it's not going to work well for me. And it's just going to create a lot of frustration. And so we started to see a lot of kids with huge behavior problems, with a very high frustration level. And parents were getting frustrated. And then behaviors were spilling over at home and at church and at Chick-fil-A and at Target and all these community places that I just really saw that it was a need that, okay, how can I structure a model that can teach these skills, but then also support them in being able to apply them in their everyday life? So whether they're at school, whether they're at home, whether they're in their community. And so I started working for a company that had a very similar ways of thinking, and Flip Consulting, shout out to Edla and Elizabeth Worley. But they kind of had this yes, let's teach them a little bit and then coach them a little bit. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And I really enjoyed doing that. And I said, okay, honey, I want to quit my job and I want to open up my own business. And he was like, okay. Sure, we can do that. We just bought a house. So and that's the thing, is get you a partner that's going to believe in your dreams and that's going to support you in your journey to see those dreams through. So he did. And then I started really small, but just going around trying to find a location first. And then shout out to my people at Habilitations. They do speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy for kids. And my girls out there was like, sure, you can come out here and rent this space on this day and this day. So that's how I started doing social skill groups
Okay.
with this kind of format and structure of we're going to teach a little bit in a small group of kids, and then we're just going to practice. So
Yes.
I think at that time it was 4 to 6 kids in a group for about an hour and a half, one time a week. So now we've grown into massive. We do about 12 to 13 groups a week here at the farm. We were doing up to 22 groups a week for kids ages 3 all the way to our oldest right now is 19.
Okay.
And so what we're able to do is teach them the skills that they're lacking. And it's not cookie cutter. It's not,
Yeah.
there's lots of curriculums out there that say, oh, this is how we teach social skills to kids with autism or ADHD or anxiety.
Yeah.
Or,
But they're just
OCD.
manual. They just want to go like step 1 to step 2 to step 3, but they never go like individually
Yes.
needs for every kid. That's what you do. That's the difference between them and you.
That's
But
the difference is it's
I
authentic.
want to make a pause right here because there's always a backup story about this.
Mm-hmm.
I know you for so many years, and I know a little bit about your family history, and I know a little bit about you, but I don't want to be the one to say it. But how does Chris becomes a therapist or this kind of coach? What was the reason? What is the move? You know what I mean? It's like, is there anything that really motivates Chris to do this and help all these families?
Well, I think it's my faith. That's a big part of, why I am where I am, is that I know God has a plan for me, just like he has a plan for everyone. And
Yeah.
this is what I feel like I've been called to do. And I just want to be obedient in that. I don't necessarily know all the answers. Trust me, it took me about 2 years to find this property that we'll talk about in a minute. But
Yeah.
and prayed over and just a lot of thought and prayer and dreaming, right? Like if you don't dream big, you're not gonna meet your goals and meet what you're called to do. So I think that's a big part of it. Also, I also have ADHD, so I cannot sit still. I've got to move. I'm an action person. I'm not going to sit around and talk about it. I just want to do it. So if I see that there's a need, I'm going to do it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to figure out ways. If I can't do it, I'm going to find a resource that can. So I feel like I, as a person, am like a genuine connector. Like I connect with people. I don't have a problem in doing that. I connect with animals. I connect with nature. I'm pretty connected with myself. Not that I'm perfect. I'm certainly flawed in many ways. But the fact that I am able to build my own connections and I'm able to kind of understand what the needs are in our community has kind of helped me get to kind of where we are today.
Yeah. And I remember one time because I follow this girl on her Instagram, but she does an amazing job. She's so funny and she connects through it, with the people that are not living there in North Carolina with you, living these stories. But I can feel the vibe and I can feel, how people love you and how kids are so happy. And I've done a few things, with your students, but I remember one time, and I don't know if it's okay for me to say it, but I remember that you had trouble with Jack's teachers, and there was something that really kind of put you sad because it was like, how come that schools are not helping these kids? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my son, Jackson, is 22. Can you believe it?
I know.
Crazy.
So fast.
I know. I don't look old enough to have children, but
no.
I do. I have a 22-year-old, and Jackson was diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety pretty early on. And it's always been a mission of mine to be an advocate for him. And so being his mom has been the biggest gift to me because I always, before Jack was born, I was doing this kind of work. But when it comes to your own kid, it's a different
Oh
story.
God. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
completely different story. And so I kind of had to find my voice in that. But it was when he got to high school, and it was a very big, challenging time
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
all of our lives, really, but particularly for his. And it was just really, really frustrating to come across teachers who had old ways of thinking and not really understanding the brain and the neurodivergent. That's a buzzword, and we can talk about what that means. But and how kiddos with neurodivergent brains are learning differently, and
Yes.
to keep
And
using
they're
the
such an
same.
amazing people. I mean, it's just,
I mean, I have
oh,
a neurodivergent brain. I mean, I know what
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
really have to work for what
Mm-hmm.
you have and
Yeah.
study. And like, there's some people who don't really have to study and can kind of get things automatic and it comes really
Mm-hmm.
easy. But for me, I have to think about it, do it, draw it out, act it out, go through different scenarios. Like, it's very different the way that I process information and the way that I engage with the world. And so old ways of thinking and old ways of teaching are not going to work for these kids. So how can we open our mind and grow as teachers to help these kids while they're at school? Because if you
Yeah.
keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. And so
Yes.
teachers are going to say, well, I'm doing this, this, and this, and he's still doing this. Well, because this, and this is not working.
Exactly.
So
That's not what he needs.
that's not what he needs. So here's some
Yeah.
tools, here's some ways to engage with him that
Mm-hmm.
I know is going to be helpful for you. And so
Yeah.
some teachers receive that very well. And then
Yeah.
there were some teachers who did not want to receive that. And that's where that was really, really difficult to connect. So I have personal experience, and thank you for bringing that
Yeah.
up. And of course, I
Yeah.
don't mind you sharing. But that was the driving force to kind of
Yeah.
say, okay, not only am I a professional and I know this stuff and I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
darn good at it, but I also have been in your shoes, parents,
Yes.
to
Yes.
help you
Yes.
understand how to advocate for your kiddo, but
Yes.
also how to teach them to advocate for themselves, because they
Exactly.
are going to leave your house. They are going to have to do the things in life, an adult. And what you've done up until that point, right? You're going to have to let it
Yeah.
go. And that's hard.
And
It's hard to let go.
that's very unfortunate to have adults around those kids that do not have the advocacy and the passion and the compassion for those kids, you know. And it's not
Yeah.
something like giving them pity or anything. It's just be compassionate and just help them thrive whatever obstacles they're going through. Just moving a little bit out of the way, you know. It's just not like that hard.
Well, and the thing about it is that brain development and what we know about the brain is has not changed. But
No.
what we're now learning, what we're now more open to learning about the
Mm-hmm.
brain
Mm-hmm.
has
Mm-hmm.
changed. And so being able to understand, so I talked about this big word neurodivergent, and what does that mean? It just means that your brain is wired differently. It doesn't mean that it's
Yes.
broken or wrong. It
No.
just means that the way that you perceive the world is different. It means that the way that you communicate and socialize is different. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you, as a neurodivergent learner, engage with your community, engage with your people at school, engage with your family, and how to understand your own actions, feelings, thoughts, and words, and how to be able to communicate that so that other people can understand. And it's a two-way street. And I get
Yeah.
this a lot where parents are like, we spend so much time, effort, energy, money into
Mm-hmm.
helping these kids through therapies and occupational therapy, speech therapy, coming to see you, and we see a psychologist and we see a counselor, and we're putting all this work and into
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
kids and into
Yeah.
ourselves as parents. A lot of work needs to be done
That
in
is
just the
emotional
public.
exhausting, right? It's just
It
so exhausting. I can
is.
imagine
It's
what these
very
parents go
exhausting.
through. I know, I know, I
And
know.
to be able to say, okay, the rest of the world, the neurotypical brain, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like using the word normal because nobody's normal,
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
neurotypical brain and people who are neurotypical really need to have an understanding that not everybody is going to think like you. Not everybody is going to talk like you. Not everybody is going to engage with the way that you want them to. So we need to be open to thinking like there's different brains. bodies and brains out there, and we need to be empathetic. We need to be compassionate, like you're talking about, and having that space within our heart and our brain to think, you know, the word I like to use is curious. Like, we need to get curious about, well, I wonder why, instead of applying our own bias and our own thoughts and feelings to it and attaching something to it that's not even true. And so a lot of our kids get bullied by teachers and by kids. A lot of our kids have trouble, you know, regulating their emotions. Well, feelings and emotions are not wrong.
No.
We just have very sophisticated ways, because we as adults have learned, some of us, not all of us. Have learned.
I'm still working on that, girl. I'm still working on that.
Same. I mean, we're all human. We all have to figure out, like, if somebody cuts us off in traffic, or if somebody says something about something political that we don't agree with, and we're quick to
You're human,
jump.
damn it. I mean,
We
that's
are.
it. Chris, I think I can't hear you. Hold on. What happened here? Can you hear me? No? God, what's going on? I got everything off, so I don't get No, I can't. Can you hear me now? No? Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, let's go. Sorry about that, but you know, we're live, so anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and we're flexible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, we are.
So talking about being regulated and talking about being able to, you know, regulate your emotions, you know, we all have feelings. We all have feelings, and they're not right or wrong. And I think we've just gotten to a point where we have an expectation that everybody's going to be happy all the time and regulated and do what it is that we ask, and we're done. And I don't know about you, but I don't work that way. I'm not happy 100% of the time. Life happens. Things happen. People happen. You know, people are so unpredictable, which is what makes our neurodivergent learners nervous, is because, you know, kids with autism think very black and white, and they have an answer, and it's very linear, and 1 + 1 = 2. But that gray area makes us really nervous. So how do we help people understand that feelings are normal, and that kids that act out and kids who are having behavior problems are trying to tell us something? They're trying to communicate. So behavior is communication. If you are listening today and you don't hear anything that I say, and you're like, what is this country lady telling me? You need to hear this, parents, that behavior is communication. When someone is acting up or acting out, and it sounds like they're being intentional, and it sounds like they're being, you know, they're out there to get you, they're not. They're either trying to tell you something, and they don't know the right way about going to do it. And so behavior is communication, and it's one of two things. The first thing is there's a skill deficit. And Dr. Stephen Porges, and Dr. Mona de la Hook, two people that I would highly looking up, who've done extensive research on the polyvagal theory, or polyvagal nerve back here in your brain that connects to your ear. Great people to look up. But anyway, what they're telling us is that behavior is either a skill deficit. I don't know how to do it yet. I haven't been taught, you need to teach me, or an unmet need. So, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, nobody seems to like me, I don't feel connected, those sorts of things. So, or it could be both. I really don't know what to do. Um, I have a need that hasn't been met. And now I'm really feeling a little out of control. And so when you have that shift in thinking, it really starts to change things, because then you start to get curious about, I wonder what it is that he needs that I can provide. Or, I wonder what it is that he doesn't know how to do yet. So then you can teach him how to do those things. And can just be able to meet that need. And so what we do here is a lot of different things, but we do social skill groups, which I'll talk about in a second. But we also can go out in the community. We go to schools, we go to preschools, we go to churches, we go to homes, and we provide consultation to families and to business leaders and to teachers that say, hey, you've got this kid, or we do trainings. What can we start thinking about that's a little different than what we used to think, because what you were doing isn't working, which is why you called me. So a lot of times I do get a lot of pushback, like, well, I don't want to do that, or I've done that, or that doesn't work, or that doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, well, how long did you do it? And what kind of attitude did you do it with? Because a lot of times you can do things with a bad attitude and still get the same results, right?
Yes.
But if you have an open mind and you get a little curious and like, what can I do about that? Then it can start to shift. So that's one way. And I love doing home visits with families. I just did one the other day where a kiddo was having a really kind of rigid way of thinking about how dinner should go, and you should sit here, and things had to be a certain way. And so I'm able to teach parents the same way I teach kids. And that I teach them the skill and then I coach it. Teach them the skill and then I coach it. So it's the same thing that I do with kids, I do with families, that I do with business leaders, that I do with teachers, because that's how we can learn the most and get the most benefit from it.
Of course. And that's amazing. So you do the family visits, you do the school visits, and then you do your own thing at the farm, this is an amazing project. And and I think you since it took you 2 years to get this project going. Tell me about that. Because I see all the pictures and all the reels that you do, and it's just, I would be so happy to play with those goats,
I mean, they're so sweet. So I have always loved to be outside. I played soccer for 23 years. I love being active, being outside, hiking, doing those sorts of things. And there's so much research out there. I really highly, highly, highly encourage you to look up the relation between nature, animals, and kids with autism, ADHD, and anxiety, and what that physiologically and psychologically does for the brain and the body. And I was just floored and overwhelmed by that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a farm with a lot of land, with water, with trees, with pastures, and I'm going to put a lot of animals on it, and we're going to do that thing. So Building Connections was still working out of an office, and we were still creating authentic opportunities for kids to play and engage, and it was working, right? It's working, and it was awesome. But the farm is kind of like an elevated sundae with cherries on top, right? It's just, it's the big thing because not only kids, I'll talk about the parent part in a second, but kids are coming here stressed out, overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, sad,
depressive,
depressed. I mean, just all of these big things that 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 14, 18-year-olds should not have to be carrying around.
I know.
It's just too heavy. And
Yeah.
You know, that's our work in the community, is to say, hey, teachers, how can you lighten that load? How can you help them take off one of those backpacks that they're carrying around that's weighing them down emotionally and socially?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how can you help them engage and take that off for a while?
Mm-hmm.
That may not follow your agenda. And that's hard. That's
Yeah.
hard for
Yeah.
teachers to wrap their head around, is like, well, I
Yeah.
have this to teach and I have that to teach. Well, you do, but you're going to get way further with this kid if you
Mm-hmm.
can stop, connect, build a relationship. That is a word that, you know, is a hardcore to connection. Is
Even for typical humans, it's hard
everybody,
for us to do. Yeah.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are so
Yeah.
important, and that builds that connection so much stronger,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Mm-hmm.
makes it a little more just authentic and real. But
Mm-hmm.
we get so focused as teachers to just, I call it time to make the donuts. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah.
commercial way back
Yeah.
when, you know, time to make the donuts, time to make the
Yeah.
donuts. And you just
Yeah.
get in this flow of like, I got to teach you English. I got to teach you how to write. I got to get you to make this certain score. And you're got to go to college, and you got to have a tutor
Oh,
and
get a job, have a
get a
wife,
job.
a
Yep.
dog, a house.
And we
Yeah.
get
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Too many
focused.
expectations from you. Mm-hmm.
So, as my friend Dr. Emily King says all the time, we have to lower the expectation so
Yes.
that people can meet that.
Yes.
And then you go, oh, look at that growth they made. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
come up. But what we
Yeah.
are here,
Yeah.
and we're saying, jump, get there,
Yeah.
do it
Yeah.
fast. And if I
Yeah.
just put you in enough tutoring, if I just put you in enough therapy, and if I just do all these things, you will make the jump. But what has to happen is the adults in the room
Mm-hmm.
need to understand that I might need to do some things that's going to help this child meet this expectation, and then we can help them grow this way.
And I
So,
would like to ask you something right there with the parents. I think when I do grief therapy. Company, just people with grieving and all kinds of grieving. And I would like to talk about that, because in between those small jumps that for them might be like something just wonderful and amazing for those kids, for their parents, it's like, wow, it took me 11 months to get there. You know what I mean? And coaching and
yes.
teaching and therapy and just, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
took. And between those small steps that you have to go as a parent, there's something you have to let go, and there's something you have to
Yes.
be able to move on and just to learn from it and just go at the same pace. Is kind of grief. How do you deal with that? How do you do with the parents all the job that they have to do
So
emotionally and psychological and sometimes economic, just money wise and stuff.
the first thing is always going to be the adults.
Oh
The
yeah.
kids are going to do the work. They're
Yeah.
going to do the work. They're going to do the learning to provide this safe place here for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to
Mm-hmm.
get what they need. They're
Yes.
resilient. Kids are so resilient.
Yes, they
They
are. Mm-hmm.
have so much more to offer than what we're allowing them to give.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest work is with the family, is with the teachers, is with the adults, because if the adult is not regulated, if the adult is not in a safe place, then how are we expecting kids to trust the adult who's all over the place?
Yes.
So you have to do the work on your own
Mm-hmm.
first
Mm-hmm.
before you
Mm-hmm.
can even start to help anybody else, including your child. And
Yes.
I'll just speak as a mom. As a mom, you are like, I am all in. I'm going to take my earrings off. I'm going to
Yeah.
roll up my sleeves. Like, I will sell my kidney to get you in that therapy. We will do whatever it is that we need to do. Work, 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 work.
Yeah.
Well, the work that really needs to be done starts here. And I think
Right.
that's what you're doing too, is like you
Yeah.
have to pause and really
Yeah.
go, okay, there's some kind of internal things, because we were all raised very differently. I think
Mm-hmm.
what we're seeing now is we're seeing generations raising different generations, which is happening, right? But then such a shift in what things have happened in the last 20, 30 years. I mean, even when you and I were growing up,
Yeah.
the way that we parent now is different. So we can't
Mm-hmm.
parent the way that we parented in 1995.
No.
It's just not going to work. If you know better and you know more, then do better.
Yes.
We don't
Yes.
want to just say, well, I learned what I needed to learn from my dad or my mom in 1995. So I'm going to carry on that generational trauma. And a lot of it is trauma.
Yes, it is.
To my own kids. And they're going to keep passing it down there to their kids. And it just keeps going on. Like, knowledge is power. Oh, I do know this in Spanish. Hold on. Something
Po-
es poder.
Poder.
So,
There you go. Yes.
what is knowledge? ¿Cómo se dice knowledge?
Conocimiento. El poder del conocimiento.
Exactamente. So knowledge. See, I told you this was not going well. Knowledge is power. So when you know more and you know better, do better.
Yeah.
So I encourage families to get out there, seek resources, do some work on yourself first, know how to calm your own emotions, know how to label your own emotions. A lot of times we go, I'm stressed out. Well, sometimes that might be loneliness. Sometimes that might be rejection and depression. Like, we need to start focusing on those things, because you can mask. This is what I see a lot. Parents are masking and going, it's great and awesome, and I'm just going to help you, and I'm fine. I'm really fine.
They're not.
They're not fine.
No,
Because
no.
if you were able to handle all the feelings of being overwhelmed and all those feelings of, grief, of not having a neurotypical child, everybody goes through it. If you have a neurodivergent child, then how are we going to kind of move on to the next step? So you have to do that work.
Yeah. And I think this not only grieving about having a neurodivergent child, it's also not be able to be accountable for your child, not to be able to be trusted, to be listened to be supported. Everything is just goes, just around, and just kind of put it aside, put it in a little drawer, and like, I'm going to be there for my child. But that will come out somehow, somewhere, either you get sick or you're angry all the time, grumpy, it's just difficult. It's just difficult.
Yes.
So we have to do something about that. Work with grief with parents, and I am willing to help you with that.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the other thing I wanted to add to that is that if you want to help your child, because a lot of the kids that we see come with big behaviors, big feelings. If you don't know how to regulate your own emotions, how are you going to help a little person regulate their emotions?
Yes, of course.
That's what we talk a lot about, is co-regulation. So before it starts to be self-regulation, so my kid has difficulty with self-regulation. Well, first of all, they're 6 and they don't know how to do it yet, because their prefrontal cortex, their learning part, thinking part of their brain, is still growing. So we got to give them the skills that they need to do that. But not only that, before it can even do that, you have to learn how to regulate yourself and identify those emotions, and know how to build your own toolbox of, I need to take a walk. I need to get a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I need to listen to music. I need to go to Mexico. I need to take a walk. I need to talk to a friend. Your child needs to see you modeling those things, and what you do. I can't find my keys. Oh, this is so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's okay to be frustrated because you can't find your keys, but then go, you know what?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me just think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
They need to see you do that. And I think a lot of times parents feel shameful
in
saying,
totally.
Well, I don't want my kid to see me angry, or I don't want my kid to see me sad.
Yeah, because you as an adult think that you don't deserve to feel sad or to feel unhappy or to feel frustrated, because you're Superwoman, super dad, just never allowed to feel, that way. And, there's another thing. I think that adults for us that were raised just by looking at us and you're saying, oh, you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? It's like you had to kind of realize what's going on in your parents' little head, just to make sure that you're doing the right thing. But also talking about connection, you're not connected 100% your brain to your feelings, your brain to your body, what your sensations, where are you feeling, why are you feeling this way? So you just kind of go into like automotive, kind of robot kind of thing. and it just happens, and you just kind of, that's what you're teaching your child to, you know?
Yes. And
Yeah.
the thing that you said about that, and we call it body alarms, because your body, and I know you're doing a lot of work on this, and I love it. I can't read half of it, but I love what you're doing.
Okay.
I need subtitles. Give me subtitles.
I will.
But understanding your sensations and what your
Yeah.
body is doing are body alarms. Your body is giving you alarm that, something's not right. My stomach is hurting. I
Yes.
get really red here. My fence clenches up. My teeth are really straight. I mean, you
Yeah.
wonder why your jaws are hurting, and we have TMJ and all these things that are happening because our body is trying to hold all the stress instead of releasing it. And so that's why it's important to identify, like, I'm so frustrated, I can't find my keys.
Yeah.
Or, you're making me angry right now. Like, I'm angry about your behavior. Before you address it with your kid, you have to address it with you, because
Correct.
you cannot help them no matter how much good intention you have. You cannot help your child regulate and change their behavior, which I don't even like that, but change their behavior if you're not regulated, if you're not able to be able to use your chill skills. So listen to your body alarms, do something about it. And parents, talk to someone.
Yeah.
It is okay to have a therapist. We have a big stigma. I know in the United States we have this, and it's probably the same in Mexico.
Oh, same. Yes. Same.
Mental health, like, you have to take care of your mental health. Talk to someone, male, female, I don't care who you are. You need to have a trusted adult to talk through. It could be a friend, but it could also be a mental health professional. Let's get this out of the way.
Just find ways to vent. Just go outside, scream, throw rocks, whatever you want to do, just vent. Just let it go.
I mean, I have
let it out.
I have a therapist that I see weekly. And if it were not for her, shout out Jennifer. Yeah. If it were not for her, I don't know how I would. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a business owner. I am an emotionally connected and invested professional helping families. And compassion fatigue is for real. I carry all the burdens of all these families. And I have to be able to release that somehow. So it is not a good expectation for me to believe that I can continue to wear all these hats and not have someone as a guide, as, of course, my faith, but also God gave me these people to reach out to and talk to, right? To be able to say, hey, I need some help with this. And that's okay. I'm not Superwoman at all. I need help.
No. Yes, totally. Okay. Now, if you notice, people, Chris is in a very, very unique place. It's a barn. Okay. And I just seen all the cats running around, and I wish we have to do like sometimes maybe a virtual, like you can just walk around the place and stuff, get to know it, which I know all the animals, and Magnolia, of course, is amazing.
Yes.
I love her, and but tell me what's going on in that farm. What can we get to leave there?
Come here. I'm gonna see if I can get my co-host here.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Look at this. Oh. This is Maverick, and he is 5 months old. I think you were 5 months old. Anyway, he's one of our kittens here, and we have 6 cats. No, we have 4. We have 4 cats now. Okay. But just like I told you about the research about the connection between the nature and animals and kids with autism, it's just so profound, and there's so much out there, but please go read it from a reputable source, and I can probably send you those links, so if you wanted to attach it to this, you could. But what basically animals can do, and what research has shown, is that animals can reduce your blood pressure, reduce your stress level, can help in making you have releasing all those good chemicals in your brain that help you feel connected to not just them. Here's another co-host.
There you go. Oh, there's a kid.
Do you know what her name is?
What's her name?
Esperanza.
Oh.
Shout out to all the Esperanzas out there.
Esperanza. There you go. My
Um,
grandma used to be in Esperanza.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Esperanza. And Esperanza had two brothers named Queso and Churro.
No.
So cute. Because hello, do you understand? Like I really
You're-
I think I'm part Mexican.
You're half Mexican, of course. You
I'm
are.
half Mexican.
You are.
So anyway, so we know that these animals can provide that for our mental health. What we also found out is that these animals can provide benefits for our nervous system, for our learning, can help with focus. But what we use them for, yes, all of those things, is that connecting with an animal versus connecting with people is usually the first step, because people are hard and unpredictable and complicated, judgy. And even though our main goal here is to create a safe place where kids and families can learn and thrive, right? We just don't want you to be okay. We want you to like go above and beyond. We want you to like find your thing, and we want to support you in that. We want you to be weird in doing that. We love your weirdness, because I'm weird, and so I don't apologize for that. I talk a lot.
Never
apologize
girl.
for being the weird kid, because I was the weird kid. So
no wonder why we got together, girl.
See, this is why.
I know, weird and weirdo.
you find your tribe. And what we found is that kids can connect with an animal in a way that is very different from people, but also very similar. Yes. So we can say, we use the words I notice and I see, or I observe you, or like I can say, I notice that when you were holding Maverick, he felt relaxed and calm. You know why? Because you were relaxed and calm, and he felt safe with you. So we can draw some parallels there, right? Of course, the animal feels safe and calm with you, and they're going to trust you. So we build trust. Yes. But also the same thing happens with people. When you are calm and regulated and connected, then other people are calm and regulated and connected. And that's how we build trust, which builds relationships, which then can build a friendship. What people they misunderstand this, in that they think, we all need to be friends. Well, that would be great, but we're not all going to be friends. We're not. We can probably travel back in time to high school and go, were we friends with everyone? No. And it doesn't mean that
we don't have to either.
And you don't have to be. Now, do you have to be able to be kind and considerate? Now, were our underdeveloped brains doing that? No. There were probably times where we were very mean and rude, and we made mistakes because we're human. But what we know now is that, okay, I want to help the next generation learn that. You don't have to agree with this person. You don't have to even like the things that they like. You may not even see yourself hanging out with them, but we are to be kind. We are to be considerate. And what does that look like? And so we're able to kind of show them, like, you may not have a lot in common, which means that if you did have a lot of things in common and you like spending time with that person, then maybe there's a friendship starting to form. And how can we cultivate that friendship? But even if you don't like the person, or if you think they're weird or whatever, you can still say, good morning. How are you? Great. That small talk. Yeah. It's going to be helpful. It's going to be helpful for you, because you're still creating a relationship, but on a very different level. And so at Building Connections, we talk particularly with our older kids and our teenagers about the levels of friendship and the levels of relationships. There's one in social thinking that calls it the PEER, PEER, amid. And so helping give kids a visual representation of what friendships and relationships look like. But for kiddos that are younger, it's just a lot about role playing and helping them understand. So the way that animals come into that is that we use animals to kind of showcase or mirror those relationships because they're very, very parallel. So I'm going to take you with me. Hold on a second so you can see.
Okay.
Right here, we have, is this coming up right or is it?
Yes, no, it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So horses have feelings too. And so we're able to see like when the ears are back for a horse, then a horse is angry. So when you see a horse with their ears back, get away. Don't stay close. It's not helpful. If the ears are pointed up and forward, they might be a little nervous or worried about something, or they're curious.
Okay.
When they're kind of forward but relaxed, they're happy. So we kind of help as a language, right? Because social skills is a language. It's the spoken and the unspoken. And so we help kids kind of understand what are the spoken rules? What do we need to remember? Like, you don't want to get too close to people. What are the unspoken rules? Like, you don't just say you're fat. Like, that's something you can like keep in your head. You can think it, don't say it. That's a lesson I think a lot of people need.
God,
think
so
it, don't
fun.
say it.
Yeah.
So there's so many different social skills that we can talk about and use, but the way that the animals are not only providing that kind of psychological benefit, but they're also providing instruction on how can we have relationships with people. So if I'm holding the cat and the cat wants to get down, I need to let it go, right? Yeah. I have to have a response to his body language. His body is telling me he does not want to be held anymore. Therefore, my response is to let him go.
Yeah.
So someone says something rude to you, you feel a certain way, you deal with those feelings. What is your response going to be? What we want to say is, oh yeah, well, you're a blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right? But we have to be able to acknowledge like, that made me angry. Let me drink my Diet Coke. Let me listen to some music before I respond to you. Yes. So not only do children need this lesson, but adults need this lesson
God,
too.
I'm learning so much today. I think I'm just going to sign up for one of your workshops or, summer camps and stuff.
Yes. But anyway, we're able to be outside. We have a tree house. We have a creek. When I know you're learning a lot about this and doing this in your own practice, but being grounded and being connected to nature and being sensitive to the sounds and the feelings around you creates that better connection within yourself.
Right, because you're aware of it.
Because you're aware of it, and then you're able to kind of get that and take it out into your life. So I kind of think of this as like a pit stop along the way during your week. You come here, relax, reset, refocus on where you need to be for the rest of the week. Right. And so we don't only just do this with kids, we do it with families. So the 2 hours that they're here one time a week for 2 hours for 6 weeks. The parents are also here. And so I let them know it's a twofer. What do you need today to help you as an individual and then as you as a parent to continue to parent your neurodivergent child for the rest of the week? Do you need to take a walk? Do you need to go read a book? Do you need to sit and eat dinner with the other families and build community with them? Do you need to this is what I don't want. And I tell parents this all the time. Put your phone away. Put your laptop away. The call will still be there in 2 hours. The grocery list will still be there in 2 hours. Your friend will still be there in 2 hours. You need to do this for you. Yes. And so we have most of our parents do this, and they do it very well, and they've created their own community, and they invite each other to birthday parties, and so it's spilling out over. I now have a parent now who has started this whole caregiver support group thing that she's just, an amazing human being, but has said, I feel such a burden to give back, to have these caregivers have support. We need to have that. So you're supporting kids and parents, but I just want to support these caregivers, grandmas, aunts, uncles, dads, moms, all of the
Oh,
above. So
that's so nice.
that's the ripple effect I want to have. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
just I
Mm-hmm.
don't want people to
Mm-hmm.
just need me to come here and
Mm-hmm.
get filled, and then I want them to be able to take it out. And we want to be able to equip parents with the skills and teachers with the skills and business leaders with the skills that they need, so
Yeah.
that it spills out over, because we
Yeah.
don't want to just keep all the magic sauce to ourselves. Now, we do have magic
Yes.
sauce, and you come here and it is magical,
Yeah, I bet.
but we want people to understand that they have it too. You have a
Okay.
skill set that only you have. You have your influence. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, this is
Mm-hmm.
why I love talking to you, is because you have a sphere of influence in Mexico. I can't even touch until now, because
Yeah.
we have a connection. And so
Yes.
now what
Yes.
I'm doing is spilling out over into Mexico because of what you're able to do in Mexico and your
Yeah.
sphere of influence, and my sphere of influence here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
What you have to offer is definitely going to spill over into here. So I think
Mm-hmm.
we just need to understand where our spheres of influence are, what gifts we have, what we already have within us. You have all you need to do whatever it is you need to do. You just need to stop and pause and think about how to tap into that.
Yes.
You don't need more. You don't need fancy. You just need
No.
to go, what do I have right now today,
Mm-hmm.
that I can use to benefit someone else, or to
Right.
give to someone else.
Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. This is so great. Okay, now tell me what's coming up for 2025, because I think you're going to have a camp, right? For
We
like coming
do.
soon. But what's usually the way that, how do we get in touch with you? What are the kind of services that we can have from Building Connections, and just to contact
Sure.
you over to tell me.
So we do have camps, summer camps, every summer. That usually the registration for those happen February 14th. Everything should be on our website. So if you follow us at www.buildingconnectionsnc.com,
Mm-hmm.
you should have all that information. Should be coming out either at the end of December or beginning of January.
Okay.
That will let you know about camps. Other opportunities. We are doing a lot of professional networking within our community. So I encourage you to do the same. You probably already do this, but there's so many different ways that you can connect with other professionals to know
Oh, yeah.
what's available in your area. But we're doing kind of like a speed dating networking event.
Cool.
Where
Okay.
we give people a tour of the farm, and then they're able to do like a, give me your elevator pitch, Dara. What is your what is it that you do to help benefit the families in Mexico? So
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
kind of do that. And then that's kind of a fun event that we did one in the fall. It was super successful. We're doing another one. And then I'm doing a speaking event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always doing trainings. I can provide parent consultations. I am not a licensed nurse practitioner or a therapist, but I am a teacher, and I've done this for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone wanted to have a WhatsApp chat or wanted to do something that way, we could definitely do a consultation that way. I just don't speak Spanish, so that's the downfall. But
okay, we need to find you one who can help you with that.
yes, or I just need to go back to school and speak Spanish fluently. How about that? How about I do that?
Yeah, yeah.
So we have we want to do some renovations here at the farm. So we have a red barn that we want to make a big giant renovation to, that it just takes a lot of money to do that. So
Yeah.
making some improvements here at the farm. We have camp, we have consultations, trainings that we do. So
Yes, yes. And you
that's
also
kinda it.
give support for other institutions like schools and just
Mhm.
pre-K, high school, middle school, just anywhere, families and their houses. So you
Yes,
can reach Chris anywhere, and I'm pretty sure she'll just find your space in her schedule and,
absolutely. And I would
be there for
love
you.
I know we talked about this, but I would love to come to Mexico. We need to get something like this going in your town.
Yes.
Because I know that autism is prevalent in ADHD and anxiety, and
Oh,
mental health is a big deal. So
yes.
I need to get on an airplane stat.
Yes, please do. We gotta do. I mean, the only thing we do that I know of, like, there's a will, you like, just doing it the right way, is the hospital here in the center of Mexico, but they only deal with autism. And that's it. I mean, it's like the biggest, but,
Okay.
And of course they're therapists, and they're, all kinds of the small, tiny bit institution, people doing their work in their communities, but it's not as, in this scale, so I'm pretty sure this will be amazing, because I mean, you can go and find like horse, coaching and just chemotherapy and all that kind of stuff, but it's not like the same. It's not in the same place,
Yes.
This is the good thing, that you can find everything at the same place. So that's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wow. Well, there's so many things that we want to do. I think we will need another lifetime to get it done, but we will.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure we will. We will. And I want to thank you enormously for everything that you've just taught us today, because like you said, connecting with people, connecting with yourself is one of the biggest things that happens. That's why the world exists. So there's something that we have to still working on, within our families, our community, school, co-workers, everybody. So that's something that we need to keep working on. And I appreciate everybody who connected to this chat that we had with Chris. I invite you. I put all of the website is right here. Also, their Instagram is right here. It's going to be in the video if you want to watch it later. You can just DM Chris directly. She will answer you as soon as she can. And of course, if you need help with translation or understanding whatever we just talked about today, please don't be afraid to contact me. You just send me a WhatsApp, or you can reach me in all of our social media. And this is an email that I just found on your website that I think they can write to you, and just anybody can ask for anything, any help or whatever. And I want to ask you something, because there were some people there. I recommended you to some of my friends here in Mexico, because they have a neurodivergent boy who is like 12 or 13 years old or something. And she said that she talked to you, but I wanted to ask you, is there any time that you would like to think about having like a stay camp for kids from other countries? Would you ever consider that?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh,
Okay.
that would be a dream. And here's the thing, is that I always consider myself a work in progress. Nothing here got here by just, thinking about it and making sure that every little detail was planned out before we did it. No, I said, I want to have a farm. I had a farm. A week later, I had horses. A week later, I had goats. A week later, I had chicken. Like, it's all like learning and process. So you throw me out an idea, like, can we have kids from Mexico come up for yes, please. Let's do that.
Okay.
And not only just do a camp from kids from around the world, but like have our kids here. Because you know what is better than just me teaching them the things, is that my kids can teach the things, and they don't even have to speak Spanish. You can learn that nonverbal communication that these kids really struggle with. Now that they have the skill set and they know how to meet a need, can in turn teach the other kids how to do it. So that's the magical thing, is that it doesn't really need to be me or Sarah or Suzanne or Anna or Tina. Like, it doesn't have to be any of us. It can be the kids. So they're the biggest teachers here. So yes, all the above. All the above.
Great. Let's start constructing this idea, because I think that will be amazing that kids have this opportunity, and help them, just anywhere, in any way we can. Oh my goodness, this has been so emotional for me. It's just, I'm so excited, and I'm worn out. I'm honestly worn out, because it's just, I think there's this kind of the good kind of frustration that is like, I want to do so many things, but everything, we have to be patient and things will
Yes.
come. Like you said, just God has we're work in progress for him. So we're
Yes.
just, the way to get to these people. So I'm so happy to,
Yes.
be able to talk to you, to reach out some people to, and my mission is that even if one person watches this video and it
Yes.
helps them out and finds a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, for me is the best pay ever. So,
Oh, 100%.
right.
And here's one thing I want to just leave with a parent who might be struggling right now with a kiddo, because I know there are Mexican parents who are struggling
Mhm.
with
Oh,
their
oh
children,
God, yes.
with their behavior, with their, the biggest thing is hang in there,
Mhm.
take a deep breath, take care of you. But I really encourage you to get curious about the why behind their behavior, because they're either trying to tell you something or communicate a feeling or a frustration, and they don't know the best way to do it, because our brains are not fully formed until we're 25 to 27 years old.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So to expect a 16-year-old, right, to be able to communicate, sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. So I
Mhm.
just encourage you to be patient, hang in there, but to get
Mhm.
curious. And
Mhm.
if you don't hear anything, get curious about, is it an unmet need? What is it that you need to meet their need? An emotional
Mhm.
need, a social need, a physiological need? Or is it a skill that they just haven't developed yet? And how can you teach them that skill?
Mhm.
And it's going to take practice and repetition, and it takes 2 weeks to change any kind of behavior. So if you want to lose weight, it's going to take 2 weeks. You want to quit
Yeah.
smoking, it's going to take 2 weeks. You want to quit being angry and screaming at people, it's going to take 2 weeks of practice consistently to do that. So I just encourage you families to hang in there, trust the process, and surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you and support you. Don't get on these, I'm sure y'all have Facebook groups and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the things, and then people just want to go, yes, yes, man, go get them. And it's
Mhm.
one thing to empathize with someone, but empathize with someone and come along with a solution. So
Yeah.
don't just empathize and go, oh yeah, I get you, and that's terrible, and bad mouth. Just empathize and go, okay, so what can we do about it? Be part
Mhm.
of the solution, don't be part of the problem. Okay, bye, I
Correct.
love you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your words. And the work that you're doing
Thank
is
you.
just amazing. It's amazing. I want to learn a lot from you. I think that there's a lot of things that I want to learn from you, and
Likewise.
there is an idea in my mind that I want to do this. I would just spend the summer there and just help you with parents with kids, just learn. Just get in touch with this thing. It's just, I think it would just make it easier in my life. I think just to be there with the parents and just listen to them and just be empathize with those parents. It's just amazing. Just take a look at your life and you're like, hey, this is a walk in the park, not for everybody. Just be kind and just listen.
Yes,
That's how, that's the
I
best
love
you
it.
can do. Yeah.
And thank you for doing what you're doing. It's such important work. And I know that you are a beacon of light in your community. And I'm so
Thank you.
very grateful. I mean, selfishly, I would love to have you here, but I know we can get into so much trouble here.
Yeah, I know.
But just to know that your sphere of influence and what you're doing there is changing the lives of so many people, that you are supposed to be there doing exactly what you're doing. And I'm just so
Mhm.
proud of you. I know I said that before, and your
I
husband and
know.
your girls,
Thank
like,
you. Thank you.
it takes everyone doing this and believing in
Yeah,
your dream too. So
yeah.
if you are working with Data, mi amiga, you are very, very blessed, and I know that you are. If you've
Thank you.
interviewed with her or been a client or considering being a client, um, she has a lot of really great qualities that I think you won't be sorry in working with her. It's definitely going to make an
Thank you.
impact. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, this is what I love to do. So, this is God's, work for me on this earth. So, hey, just might as well just be happy and learn and share and, do whatever it takes. And this is
That's
what
right.
we're doing today. Thank you, everybody who watching,
Thank
who will
you.
watch later. I think there's so many questions and so many things that we can discuss today and later. So I'm sure we'll see Chris on this channel many, many times. And I will tell you what our plans will come in the future. Maybe we'll have
You never
something in
know.
Mexico here. Yeah, you never know.
You never know what I might just be hanging out around there. So if you hear my country
Yeah.
voice, then you'll know that I'm there.
I know.
I can't wait.
Please.
We want to come back. Julie and I had the best time, and we talk about it often. I mean, that was like 2016, something like that, when we came down last.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think we might come to see you first, like in the
yes,
next couple months. So we'll see each other. I'm pretty sure about that. And then
yes,
we'll
yes,
make
yes,
plans for the next one. So yeah.
yes, we will.
So let's see. Let's see what we can come up with.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for
I love
giving me
you.
this time. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. And any questions that you write, just put it in the comments. I'm sure that Chris or we will be so happy to answer them for you. So have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.